Hello my dear students, I am Ujjwal Srivastava, your social studies trainer. Today in this class I am going to start the new chapter of political science, that is federalism. In this chapter we are going to talk about what federalism is, what is the concept behind this, its features, and why India is known as a federal country. In the last chapter of this political science only, we have read about power sharing. In that chapter, we have read that how power is shared among different levels of government and what is the need of power sharing in the country. In the last chapter only, we have taken the example of Belgium, Sri Lanka, and many other countries. And in this chapter also, we will be discussing about that in a very quick way. So let us start with the chapter and let me tell you what is the meaning of federalism. Federalism is a word made from the word federal. We all know that India is known as a federal country. Then the question arises, what federalism is? See, federalism is a form of basically government where a system in which the power is shared between central government and various constituent units. In this system, there is not only one government which is central or union. It's not only one government which works, but there are its constituent unit as well, which has its own power. And in this kind of system, central government can't give orders to constituent units because it's like something like that. In this form of federalism, every state है या फिर if we talk about central government, both of them are having their own powers, so they are compelled to take decision as per their requirement of the state or the country. Constituent unit, let's take states. Central government and state government. Central government work for the nation, whole nation, but the state government usually work for that particular state. Its jurisdiction is for a particular state, and it can only take decisions which are in favor or in something like in favor of or advantages or something like that in that particular state only. Suppose some issues are there and quick decision has to be made or quick laws has to be made. In that at that time, the particular government who is UP's state government, that particular government will take some decision. So suppose if UP is facing some issue and quick law needs to be made, in that case Mr. Yogi Adityanath is going to take decision because he is the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh, so he comes under state. Apart from this, in India we usually see that three levels. First is central, then second is the state, and third one is panchayats or municipals or panchayat. Panchayat usually work for that particular area. Suppose there is a village, in that particular village panchayat rule is there, and for petty cases panchayati rajas are there, and the ministers who is the head of the panchayat usually take some decision. So federalism is this, where central and state government works and both of them are having their own powers. So in India, if we talk about India, then you can see one thing. We have central government, then we have state government, and after that we have local government. So here central, then state, where we will talk about municipals and everything. So here you can see that this is the figure which is you can draw this figure which at the time of writing this particular answer, which will be helpful and it will be advantage in gaining marks. So if we talk about Belgium, we have read in the previous chapter about Belgium and Sri Lanka. So in this chapter, let me tell you that Belgium has moved from unitary form to federalism. Earlier, Belgium, you only have a central government where one government usually take decision and other government and regional government usually work under that. So suppose if there is a central government and the regional government is working under central government, then we can't say that that particular country is following federalism. Because for any country to be called federal, two types of government, two tiers of government should be there, and both of them should have their different power and one cannot interfere in others' matter. So in Belgium earlier there was a regional government as well and central as well, but regional government was working under central government. But at that time, children, let me tell you that regional government was not having a single itself autonomy of own. So they are compelled to follow the rules and regulation orders of central government. But if we talk about 1993, in the year 1993, regional government was given constitutional power. Yes, because at that time regional government, it was realized that it is a need to give a regional government some power so that a decision can be taken quickly and to avoid some chaos and confusion. So at that time Belgium model was literally very successful, and it was called that. Belgium has usually adopted this thing, and they have shifted from unitary government to federalism. Now, why they were called we are calling them federalism, because now central government is different and regional government is different in Belgium. So both of them are going to have their own powers. So one cannot interfere in other one. So it was not in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka was not following this kind of system. So we cannot say that federalism was there in Sri Lanka, because we have read about Sri Lanka in the previous chapter. If we talk about federalism, there are two concepts. First and second. First, government for the entire country. See, central government, whenever we talk about central government, it is known as government for the entire country. It is the responsibility of central government to take all the decisions that are related to the nation, that are related for the sake of the people of a whole nation, keeping in mind the whole nation, not any particular state. Suppose there was an attack that was held in Mumbai. Suppose now particular government, central government will take some decision. A state can also take some decision. They for a very particular thing or for a very quick decision. The state can issue some advisory that people have to follow these things. But central government will take some strict decision or something that would not only in the favor of Mumbai, but also for the other countries, because here central government is going to increase their security on the borders and everywhere, so that next attack cannot take place there only, in the nation only. So here state government cannot take decision for the whole country, because the power of state government is limited to that particular state. Whenever we talk about jurisdiction, it means that legal power of someone for that particular geographical area. Jurisdiction means the power of particular person, entity for that particular geographical area. So state government cannot take decision for the whole country, because they are only responsible and they are only answerable. They have only limited power for that limited that part of the state only. So here, Mr. Modi, if there is some attack took place in Mumbai, so Mr. Modi is going to take some decision for the country, but at that time, whosoever is the state chief minister of that will take some quick decision, will issue some advisory, so that people will be aware about that, and they will take some precautions as well. So if we talk about second, government for the state government is there. If we talk about UP, Mr. Yogi Adityanath is there, who is known as the chief minister. So here, Mr. Yogi is going to take some decision which is related to Uttar Pradesh only. He is not going to take any decision which is related to Madhya Pradesh, because Madhya Pradesh is having its own chief minister, Delhi is having its own chief minister, Mr. Kejriwal. Mr. Kejriwal has said that he will be issuing make metro free for females. So this particular decision has been taken by Mr. Kejriwal, since he is the chief minister of that particular state. But if Mr. Yogi visits Delhi and if he wants to take some decision and wants that male will also travel free in the metro, so he can't take decision, because he is not having any authority related to that. So you need to understand that big difference between a central government and the state government. The state government of the state are only responsible for that particular state. If we talk about lockdown, here I have mentioned lockdown, because you must have seen that when lockdown was going on in the earlier phases, lockdown 1.0 and after that 2.0, curfew was there. Earlier there was a curfew. In the very beginning there was a curfew, and after that what happened? Mr. Modi has said for the country that now we will be following lockdown, no curfew will be there. But after this decision, Punjab government, state government of Punjab, Mr. Amrinder Singh's government, has issued that curfew will be continued in Punjab. So here, he is having Mr. Amrinder Singh. If you talk about Major Amrinder Singh, so Amrinder Singh has taken separate decision for its state, that is Punjab. So here, you can say that why central government has taken a decision, then how can Mr. Amrinder Singh can take decision for Punjab? But he can take decision because state it's under. If you talk about state government has its own power. If they think that particular decision which is for the country is not suitable for their state as well, they can make some new rules for their state, because it is the right of the government, whether it is state or central, they can work accordingly as per the need of the state or the nation. So I hope I have made this thing very clear, what is the type of separatism, government for the entire country and government for the states. So this is the concept. Now if we talk about features, what are the features? First feature is that two or more level of government. Here you can say that in federalism, there will be no one form level of government. There will be always two level of government, two or three or more level of government. Like we have central, state and local. So these are the three example of this particular point. Second, govern same citizen jurisdiction. Exactly. Okay. So whatever tier of government we have, 1, 2, 3, they will always govern same citizen. How? What is the meaning of this? Suppose I am Ujjwal Srivastava. I am living in Uttar Pradesh. Mr. Modi is governing me. He is giving order for the India or the whole nation. So I am following that. Yogi Adityanath has made some issued something. He has made some rule. I am following that as well. Mayor of Allahabad, Abhilasha Gupta Nandi, has issued something. I am following that thing. So, three levels of government, central, state and local. I am following the rules or the things that has been said by all the three. I am following the rules or the decision of all the three types of government or all the three tiers of governments. So here, same citizen is governed by different level of governments. Because if I'm a person, I am living in India also, in India, and I am there in a state of India, and I am there in a city of that particular state. So I am compelled to follow all the rules and regulations that are been given by all the three levels of government. So I hope I have made this second point clear. Third, jurisdiction of each is specified in the constitution. Yes, jurisdiction means rules and regulations. So here, whenever we talk about jurisdiction, it means that each and every government is having its own limits, its power up to a particular geographical area. So they can only work to that particular extent, to that particular area, not apart from that. So jurisdiction is specified in the constitution for each level of government, where they are up to where they have to work, what are the limits and everything. Next point is that fundamental provision of constitution cannot be changed unilaterally. Suppose there is a government and wants to change something written in the constitution. So that particular government cannot change anything without the consent of other form of government, other tier of government. Because since we are a federal country, so we are not following any unilateral thing. So here, whenever we talk about India, India is a federal country, so no unitary method, unilateral thing will be followed, because to make any changes, central, state or local, if required local, other central and state both will sit together to take some decision. It cannot be taken decision like in the isolation, consent of both the level of government is required. Next is courts have power to interrupt constitution and government. Yes, courts have been given this right, that the constitution, that they can interrupt the law of constitution, whatever is not suiting as per the need of the present time, then they can change as well, and they can limit the power of the government, because the power of the government is particularly mentioned there in the constitution. And if it is found that particular government is not doing something good or which is against the constitution, that particular court can stop that government from doing so, and hopefully they can remove from that position as well. The last one is source of revenues as specified for the board. See, we have seen that there are two budgets. One is given by central, one is government, state government. So revenue for both the government are separate. So it is not like that there is a one revenue pooled in a one place and it can be used by both the government, tiers of government, but it's not like that. For central and for state, both them revenue is separate. Alright, I hope I've made this in here. So we can understand this thing, what are the features of federalism is, why federalism is important, you can see with the help of these features as well. And that's why only India is known as a federal country. Apart from this, let's move to another topic, that is routes through which federalism has been formed. What is the route from where we have taken this particular idea through which federalism has been formed? There are two ways. Coming together of the independent states to form bigger units. There were two concepts. Earlier, there were some of the independent states. They came together to form up a bigger unit. And example, USA, Switzerland, Brazil. They came together, only one form of government is there who is doing everything. Next one is holding together. Division of power and holding together means there will be two levels, like central, state, or the third one will be regional. So there will be a division of power and all three will be working together. So this is called division of power, which will be kept under to holding together. India, Spain, and Belgium are the example of holding together, and USA, Switzerland, Brazil are the example of coming together. India is following this particular concept where state government is having separate power, central is having separate power, and regional is having separate power. So here you can see that how it is important to take some decision, because it is not possible for central government to take decision every time for the sake of the country, because that particular person cannot see each and every state. So each and every state has been given under one minister, and that particular minister is watching or witnessing all the things that has been taken or that is taking place under that state only. So if we talk about some changes required or anything that is required for that state, for the sake of that state or people of that state, then at that time state government is going to take decision. Sometimes it happens that few things become that much complicated that doesn't come under state government. So what will happen? What are the topics that we will cover under state government, central government? We will study under the union list, concurrent list, or the state list. That I will tell you later on. So till now, I hope I have made this thing very clear what federalism is, why it is important, and what is the meaning of jurisdiction.